darkness will fall when you least
Oh,
expect
yes.
me.
Talking about the Ripper, it's a little Judas Priest. I think every rock band has like one serial killer type song. We could do probably a whole show about that as well. I mean, there's no way we're even going to get into all of the serial killers.
Oh my God, there's so many good stories.
I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Nope.
So let's pick a few. Matter of fact, this hi guys, it's Melissa Fox. We got Linda Z said what their hashtag up in front of that. Linda Nunez, Dr. Ken V. Heck, and hi buddy, and Pornstar Pete. So let's move to someone a little closer to our neck of the woods, or rather your neck of the woods.
Oh, yeah.
Pete.
Up there.
Definitely
yeah.
my neck of the
Jeffrey Dahmer, Linda. Did you know he did some mapping? Pete, you are from how close?
8 minutes away was my drive from Jeffrey Dahmer's house to my house. 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
You live near a chocolate factory, do you?
Yeah.
That's where Dahmer worked, man.
Yeah.
That's where he learned how to wrap his
scary.
chocolates and,
Yeah.
and then heat it to a certain temperature. And,
So this is one of the things that really stuck out for us at home. You know, when this happened, reality kind of I mean, we were already scared children, you know, because it was the
Yeah.
80s.
Right.
And then when this guy came around,
gonna
he found
snatch
out
you
that
up.
because not only I know, you know, everybody knows the basic story. This guy, you know, killed people and ate them.
Oh.
There was one particular instance where the louse boy got away.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
um,
And
Oh,
they,
yeah.
yeah.
They gave him back.
They gave him back to
So
him.
here
Here
you
you
go.
go. Here's your
It's
kid.
just a lover's car.
Mr.
Oh,
McFeely in special delivery brought him right,
right,
back.
right. There you
It's
go.
horrible. So, you know, I mean, that's
And,
really.
and he was naked when he ran out of
Uber
the house.
Yeah.
Eats, yeah, with
Completely
blood running down his head or something from because he
and
wasn't
from
he
his,
trying.
and
Yeah.
from his behind.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, lover's quarrel,
Lover's
my
quarrel.
bad."
Yeah.
Okay, we got it. Oh Lord. So,
No.
So he ended up being lunch. And it's
Yeah.
pretty horrifying. And so as a child, you know, growing up there, it's like, man, the police ain't even, they're just going to bring me over to his house. Because
Yeah.
the guy was,
I'll drop you right
We
off.
know
there,
where he
Pete.
lives.
Yep.
his technique was he drugged these guys. It
Gay
was,
guys, come on
yeah,
to say it.
it was
He went
young-
to the club.
it
He
was
picked
young
up
gay guys,
young, tricks and
Mhm.
bring him back. And then the thing is, I think with Dahmer, wasn't it? He wanted to sustain. He wanted them to be like zombies.
Mm.
So he would try to drill them in the head so that they would be under his control or whatever. But he kept killing them. He was,
Yeah.
damn it, lost another one.
He
Oh, well.
you
Better
actually
make-
have to be skilled to do a lobotomy,
Better make soup.
you know?
But then he was like, well, man, I don't want to waste a perfectly good body. So make chili and put parts in here. And
Well, and it gets really
Yeah, it gets
cold in
very,
Milwaukee. So,
very
you know,
cold, yeah.
sometimes just don't want to go to the store.
well, yeah, you can get one of them big freezers and save up. Yeah, you get you a half a side of man in there.
Oh.
My younger brother played tennis with Dahmer's dad the day before the trial.
Dude.
Yeah.
Ugh. And see, this is a part of it for me. And which one of you guys? I know I can't remember at the moment. Blaming it on the parents. I blame it on the parents. I can't
How?
help it. They're-
But yeah, Ken just said his brother played tennis with
I know.
Dahmer's dad.
I do
What
blame it on-
happened in this guy's life? Why?
I do blame it on the parents, but
I don't think you can.
I think that there are some of these guys are born, not made.
We talked about that in the very beginning.
I think there's some of them that are just have a wire crossed, and it's not. You couldn't because some of these parents tried.
Well, like this one. I mean, he with the stuff he would do with animals as a child, you know, they would eventually they figured this out. They were aware that this stuff was happening. I think they were just kind of like a lot of ignoring and just, you know, brushing it off as
right.
over it.
Okay. So here he is, 1960s born, middle class family, Milwaukee area, right? Young age, fascinated with all things related to death. Okay. Right out of your gates.
Well, what do you do?
Starts collecting carcasses of dead animals. His father even notes that his son was oddly thrilled by the sound of clanking animal bones.
Ugh.
By the time he's in high school, his family moved to Bath Township, which is outside of Akron, Ohio. And Dahmer was an outcast there, becomes an alcoholic, drinks at school, and is always wearing an army fatigue jacket. Not one of the long coats, but still something to that. And to fit in, he would try practical jokes, pretending like to have a seizure because that's funny. And they actually started to refer to it as doing a Dahmer in high school. He's such an idiot. I think he realized he was gay then, and he also had abnormal sexual fantasies that were starting to blossom. He started fantasizing about raping men that he saw, became aroused by the idea of dominating, controlling that person. And after a while, he couldn't control his desires. 3 weeks after high school graduation, first murder was committed. By this time, his parents are divorced. His father and brother were living at a nearby hotel. And when his mother left, Dahmer would have full run of the house. So at that point, you know, it began. The 18-year-old hitchhiker gets picked up and, you know, convinces this guy to join him at the house for some drinks before going to a concert. And next thing you know, Stephen Hicks, boo-bye, gets bludgeoned from behind with a 10-pound dumbbell right to the head.
This is why it's number one. It was a hard pill to swallow, because at the time that the instance with the Laos boy and everything, I was 15 years old.
Mhm.
I was that, right in that age, in that area. So obviously, when you found out about all this, it hit hard. But another thing that really gets to me, it's like the worst thing for me to actually be consumed. Like if I think about it with your own children or your parents or your brothers or just people you're close to. And if something like that happened to them, how would I react? And I'm thinking, this guy, not only did he kill them, but then he ate them and pooed them out. He like consumed. It's like, it doesn't get any worse.
Yeah, that was pretty descriptive.
Well, because eventually,
you shot them out. Yeah.
It goes through your brain, because you're thinking,
you flushed my kid down the toilet.
Right? How horrible is
now I
that
have
whole
your powers.
process?
Isn't that what that is? When you eat your victim so that
yeah.
you get their talents.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know
There
if
can be only one.
Oh no, really? You did.
I think
From the cloud,
personally,
the cloud.
civil justice would have definitely applied here. I don't think I would have let this guy win. And I think that's what happened, because eventually, he went to prison and got his own torture.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah,
torturous end.
Yeah, he was kind of killed then.
Broomstick.
What was happening
Sodomy.
for over a decade.
During that time, Jeffrey Dahmer joined the army and was sent to Germany.
He was a
He was
medic.
eventually discharged for
He
a
found out
drinking
after the
problem
fact that
and
he had
returned
raped
to
people and
Ohio.
drugged them.
9 years
Yeah.
after Stephen Hicks' murder, the killing began again.
Yep.
What happened to you in the 9 years in between that you were able to stop, that you were able to control yourself?
Yeah.
It just wasn't an opportunity to fully express what I wanted to do.
Army training, sir.
It wasn't a time in there when I was able to do what I really wanted to do. Well, whoops, sorry.
People.
There you are. Yeah, your day job.
Yeah,
kept
day
me.
job.
I had to work. So,
You were watching me the whole time. Yeah, I'm sorry.
yeah, after he finally got killed, I think his mom said something like, "Hey, everybody happy now? Huh? He's been bludgeoned to death. That good enough?" I'm like, well, yeah.
No, now I think the parents should be bludgeoned to death.
But see, that's the thing.
Where's
It's
the
not like he
pathology?
came out with dent in his head from dad or anything. You can't blame the divorce, and
I
know
with my own
I'm
child,
sorry.
I could tell you right now that, whether he's a serial killer or not. And I just think every parent should be able to look at their own child and figure this out.
All right.
Even at
Sounds
this
like they had
age.
their own problems they were worried about at the time.
Yeah, maybe so. All right, well,
Focused on him.
maybe we should discuss some signs to look for.
There you go.
All right, how about that? We'll look into that next. More serial killing. It's Connection.
This is Connections. Connections is Relationship Radio.
Look at us. We work like dogs, we drink, and then we work like hungover dogs.
Strong words from a strange man.
I'm thinking about having you examined for mental illness or drug use or massive head injury.
This is Connections. Broadcasting live every night at 10 Eastern.
You leave now and you gotta get a nap.
This is Connection.
Connect. Yeah. Welcome back to Connections, where tonight we are talking about serial killers. Not all of them, because apparently we breed a lot of serial killers.
I think we have a bad go to Russia.
Oh my God, they probably don't even
More?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what's cold over there? Get bored.
Yeah.
A little drinking. Next thing you know, no more vodka. Kill. It's crazy. So, Dr. Ken's with us tonight. I'm Melissa Fox. Got Linda Nunez, PSP, and Lizzie said, "Kill, crush, destroy."
Yeah, sure.
Did you ever hear about the redneck? Now, why would they call him a redneck Charles Manson? I mean, Donald Henry Gaskins.
I don't know, because the two are very, I mean,
Yeah.
I do see the similarity a little bit, but very different.
Maybe because he was charismatic enough to pick up young female hitchhikers or something and then rape, torture, and kill them, breaking their bones, cutting, mutilating, biting. But I don't see anywhere the cannibalism in the Manson camp. I'm not seeing why they would call him that. But he was known as Pee-wee, really. Yeah.
This guy wasn't a force to be reckoned with, and his
a little
problem,
guy, man.
his problem with people is they were bothersomeness. That was the word he used.
You're like a
That was his
ball
reason
of
for
molten
killing him.
lead
You
rolling
are a
around in my
bother.
gut. You're a ball of rolling around up my spine into my head. You get worse. You make me ache all over my body, my back, all the way down to my groin. The mere sight of women enrages these feelings. He said it would make him pulsate and grate in the pit of his stomach. Wow. Do we have any early beginnings on this guy? Because I'm seeing impoverished. Okay.
His victim count, he was indicted for 10 murders, but he claims to have killed 200.
Oh, come on. See, now they do get braggartish. You know?
yeah.
That's the one thing I've noticed about these serial killers. Just they either lie and claim they did stuff that they didn't do, or their numbers are greatly exaggerated. It's always some sort of a game right till the end.
It is a game. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's exactly what it is.
But Donald Henry Gaskins, he grew up poor, largely unsupervised. His mom was an alcoholic. Early on, he developed dysfunctional views towards sex. When he wasn't left to his own devices, his mother, Molly, and her various lovers sexually and physically abused him.
Okay, there we go to the
Back
beginning
on,
again.
Right. And of course, it doesn't take long for Donnie or Pee-wee to perpetuate the violence and abuse that he experienced at home. By the time he's 11, he's already robbing gas stations, stripping cars for spare cash, sleeping with prostitutes, and participating in a gang rape of a friend's younger sister.
Well, don't they say that
11?
psychologists say that a child learns everything he needs to know by the age of 5, right?
Pretty much.
So basically, these kids have gotten to the age of 5 and these horrible things have happened. They've already made up their mind about things. Now it's all about just reinforcing what they've seen.
It's they've taken what they've seen, they've made it their own. They've wrapped their warped sense of morals and values around it because that's all they've been exposed to.
Right.
And to them, that's normal behavior.
Right.
Right. And so then Gaskins gets caught in a botched house burglary. He had assaulted a girl with a hand axe, which I'm assuming penal compensation or something. Something's going on there already sexually. And he ends up getting thrown in reform school, and he's at the bottom of the food chain. All right. So traumatic experiences of the reformatory make him feel like he's got to dominate and be feared by others.
Yeah, he was gang raped and owned by the boss boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah. So
There again, reinforcing everything.
Hey,
Mhm.
everything
He knew
he
about
saw.
the world.
There we go.
So at this point now, he's got a feeling he's got to have control over everything and mastery over his entire environment, or he is not safe. I get that.
So basically, he learned while he was in reform school
Mhm.
what he was
Right.
going to do when he got out.
Right.
How to do it better.
Now, he did an autobiography, he wrote, and he separated what he called recreational kills from serious murders. I mean, some were fun.
Well,
and
you've
some
got to
were-
draw the line somewhere.
Apparently he did. He wrote that. This one was just for fun. This one I was really, really serious about. The serious murders usually dispatched people he knew in retaliation, blackmail or mockery, something like that. If they were trying to get one over on him, he would kill. That was the serious murder. Those are the ones he had thought about, I guess. Other times he just killed for money. And so he was a serial killer. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And he got caught because an accomplice, he trusted him with his secrets. He was like, yeah, I'm going to tell you some stuff. He thought the guy was a little too dim-witted or feeble-willed and scared to rat him out. But unfortunately,
Sounds like John C. Holmes.
unfortunately, this guy with a guilty conscience and a fear of God that, back in the day, they used to be able to hold that over people, especially the slaves.
You go to hell if you don't
Right.
tell us the truth here.
I mean, they take the good book and they would twist it so that people would feel like they were going to, yeah. Anyway, so this guy flipped on Mr. Gaskins and he got arrested and sentenced to death. While he's on death row, he murders a guy for money, an inmate. And then he dedicated his autobiography to the co-author, so Wilton Earl. At the end, he said he feared death and he slit his wrists, but not to kill himself, just so he could get in the hospital and prolong his life a little. Yeah. So,
But instead,
yeah, they patched him up and said, chair.
that ain't gonna work, buddy.
Nice
All
try,
right, nice
though.
try.
And sure, that really didn't work out for him.
Don't worry, the electricity will seal the wounds. We're good.
But yeah,
We'll
it's,
cauterize them.
Cauterize
everything,
yeah,
every
yeah.
bleed you
Good.
got.
with this particular guy, it just seemed like it was something in his gut that just made him want to, like, again, that bothersomeness,
Mhm.
that word that he used so often. When he did kill his
Molten
victims, he
lead.
was like, he felt so good afterwards. He's like, oh, finally got rid of that pain.
It was like molten lead. I mean, that's all the way into my groin. Oh, people, they piss me off, but I would never kill them. I'm just letting you know that you don't have to stay on the other side of the table. Why?
Yeah, we're good for right now.
Okay,
Just,
fine,
you know,
fine,
just,
fine. All right. So, Fred and Rosemary West. Oh, those are the British killers. Yeah, they were the ones that were snagging girls for him and her, and that was a pretty deep thing. I remember them.
It's scary when they get together.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
when you get your
frightening.
ride or die to start doing these things with you.
Well, I still think that Rosemary West. I mean, if you we'll just talk about the story briefly, and then we'll hit it up on the other side of the break. But Fred and Rosemary West did some seriously gruesome things. I mean, not only they killed women they abducted, but they murdered some of their own children. And Fred West started his killing spree with the murder of his mistress. She was pregnant with his child.
Nice.
And a number of Fred West victims were, it was double digits. Yeah, before he was caught. His second wife, Rosemary West, she killed her own stepdaughter. So, yeah, that was good.
Oh,
But he is famous for being an adult who convinced a child to kill. Because Rosemary was 15 when she met Fred. Fred was 27. This is in 1968. Okay. They had a child named Heather 2 years later. Tied the knot in 1972. And then the killing spree began shortly after they got married. 20 years, over 20 years, these two killed 13 women at least and children. Although Fred says maybe 20. So, but it's very, very disturbing. I know, right?
they're always like, I don't know how you guys are missing. There's like 10 of them you haven't even accounted for.
Yeah,
I mean,
all right.
don't they have any families that care about
Do
them?
the
Jesus.
math, right? Well, and here's the thing: Rosemary was pimped out by Fred. You know?
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. It's
I keep seeing.
Need a little extra money.
I keep seeing Rosemary.
She's not a looker.
No, not Rosemary.
Every time you say that, and Fred Merman.
No, Fred Merman. Never mind. You're talking about Ethel and Fred. You're all over the
That's
place.
what I keep thinking about every time you say that.
No, we'll be right back. I'll give you more about the West. It's connection.
Relax. I'm going to move the energy from your thighs to your buttocks now. Now, which one of you doubts my powers? You, Lieutenant Weinberg.
Are you finished? Are you finished? No, I'm just getting warmed up. Are you finished? Are you finished? No, I'm just getting warmed up. Warmed up.
I'm a psychopath, I'm a killer. A psychopath, I'm a killer.
Yeah, you are a wannabe Eminem.
Yeah, that's helpful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very helpful. Just put it right out there. People figure it out. Yeah. Be scared. Be very scared. We're talking about psychopath. No, we're talking about serial killers, which apparently go hand in hand. So, sociopaths, psychopaths. I don't know. Do you think so? What do you think, Linda? You think so?
I definitely think so. Now, not every sociopath is a murderer, but it certainly sets the stage for a very scary individual.
Dr. Ken?
Yeah, sociopaths, you really have to worry about them. They have the ability to compartmentalize their feelings. They can pull them out at any point in time. They're great actors. They can fool you in a heartbeat and make you think that they're the most compassionate person on earth when all they want to do is take you inside, bash you over the head, and eat you.
I don't like that. Why do they want to eat me?
Because they're hungry. It's
Good
cheap.
eats.
It's cheap food.
Yeah.
Living
He's going
off
to the
the
grocery
land.
store. You know?
Well, I was going to say, I know that's that hunter mentality, right? Yeah, you eat what
Corn
you kill.
fed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we were always taught.
Lizzie.
Nothing goes to
You don't,
waste.
if you don't eat it, you eat it if you shoot it.
Yeah,
We
that's
always,
right.
we always tell our friend Cool Whip Allie that if something happens, we're going to eat her first.
Oh,
Man.
call me.
We said we're gonna keep her alive and just try to chew off the rump a little bit. And she's like, no, just kill me. Just
Right.
She got a nice
I'm like,
booty,
she's already
too.
being submissive about this, so I think it'll work.
We should be okay. So before the break, we were talking about Fred and Rosemary West, not to be confused with Fred and Ethel
yeah.
Mertz, okay, or Rosemary or any of those other ones, Linda. Okay. Now, as I was saying earlier, Fred West is an adult who basically turned a woman or a child, she was 15, into a killer. They were married by the time she was 17, and and then over the next 20 years, they killed all kinds of women and children as well. She even killed her own stepdaughter. Now, throughout the marriage, Rosemary West made extra money for the family. Like you do, you have a side job. Hers was as a prostitute.
Yeah, and his was a pimp.
Yeah, well, he pimped her out because he had an unsteady day job as a construction.
Pimping ain't easy.
Yeah, it's not easy, man. You got to keep that pimp hand strong. And sometimes they took boarders into the house. That's a big issue right there. Yeah. But when money was short, she went out and worked the streets. And more disturbing, he liked to watch.
And again, she was not a looker.
No,
I just
not
have
at
to
all.
put it out there. She wasn't a looker.
Now, Carolyn Owens, she's Carolyn Roberts now. Roberts, she actually lived. She was their nanny for a minute back in 1972. They picked her up. She was hitchhiking, and they said, "Hey, we need a nanny for our kids." And she was like, "Yeah, okay," because it was 72 apparently. And the job didn't work out though. They knocked her unconscious and gagged her with duct tape, like you do. And then they sexually assaulted her, and she wasn't able to escape, but she was so afraid.
Was that her exit interview?
Yeah.
She still didn't want to stay on. That's the problem.
I don't understand, man. She ran away and went to the cops, but then she didn't want to press charges against them. So Fred wound up being charged with indecent assault, but there was no prison time involved there. So
wow.
Yeah, they turned their basement into what we call a BB&D, a basement bed, breakfast, and dungeon, which is really what? You've never heard of an Airbnb? Sorry.
Sometimes you just crack yourself up.
Nice. Just me. I know. Just me. Nobody
That side
else.
of the table.
So they had a house on Cromwell Street with a horrible secret, a basement that was a torture chamber. I'm ignoring him. And a great. Now he's laughing at his joke. It was also a
Laughing at Lizzie.
graveyard. I know. And her joke because she's lost it. They had sexual bondage and torture devices and the ability to hang their victims from the walls and ceiling. Nice.
That's some sturdy roofing.
Talk
Yeah,
about
they-
living
They have
art.
that down at Secrets, don't they?
Yeah. Apparently, among the victims tortured were their own female children.
Well, when you got them right there in the house already, it's just a lot
Yeah.
easier to work with.
Well, see, 1987 came around, and Fred and Rosemary's daughter, Heather, well, she ended up dead because they kicked her in the head so many times until she died.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But at that time, their other daughter, Anna Marie, not to be confused with Rosemary,
To save on bullets.
moved out of the house. She was like, I got to get away from this constant sexual abuse. So apparently her dad and stepmom, who was Rosemary, not Rosemary, she was like, I can't handle this bitch anymore. So she split, and then Heather was 17. Well, then that was the object of the attention. And she was like, I'm not doing this. So they kicked her in the head till she died. She even told some of her friends what was going on in the house. They're going to kick me till I die. They were like, oh, I'm sorry. And then they murdered her in response. They dismembered her. And then they had their son, whose name is Stephen, her brother, Heather's brother, dig a grave in the backyard.
Hey, can you bury your sister?
Sure.
I got
Can I have her back?
Sometime back in 1971, Fred's first child, Charmaine, disappeared. Charmaine, we're never really sure who the mother was, but they think it was somebody named Rena Costello, the first wife. She had been pregnant with another man's child when she got married to Fred. And then Rosemary, that's Fred's second wife, keep up. Okay. She couldn't deal with Charmaine's energetic outburst, so she made the child disappear. Yeah. I sent her to live with family. Poof. They found her during an investigation in 1994. They found the body. She was in a plastic trash can.
Oh.
Yeah. But at the time when the kid disappeared, in Fred's defense, he was in prison for petty theft. So.
Oh, well, see, he's innocent.
Sometime between 72 and 94, you take the trash out.
Yeah.
You'd think.
Something's
going to start stinking.
Yeah. But he got out of jail that same year. And then he did the same thing to his ex-wife, Rena. He put her in the letterbox field, buried her in a shallow grave. And she had some of Fred's hallmarks, which I know, calling cards. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Her fingertips and her toes had been removed. Oh, and she'd been dismembered. Yeah. But shockingly, no one was like, hey, the kid's missing or the mother. So, yeah. So that was the deal.
That's crazy.
Well, it's still there. We live in an isolationist kind of society nowadays.
Yeah.
And look at the kids that escaped from that house.
Yeah.
And they lived there for what, 19 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the neighbors didn't know anything or anybody. Really?
How is that possible?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
Maybe it's the little techno bubble everybody lives in. They don't want to know.
Nice, Dr. Ken. Like the one that your mom was in when she was like, I don't think there were any serial killers in my time. Like,
yeah.
Well, if you're around in the 70s and 80s, then it was your time.
Well, she was around in the 60s too, and that was a good time there. So here's some early warning signs if you might have a serial killer in the making.
Everybody get out your driver's license photo.
What's the difference? What does it look like? Seriously. It's surprising. I mean, there's not really a definitive guide, okay, for detecting serial killers, but we do have early warning signs. Okay. A rough childhood and a troubled family history, as we have already clearly defined, is a big characteristic, because a lot of convicted serial killers have cried, oh, my family life was horrible. I was raped, and maybe there is something to that. I think Dr. Ken said that there's clearly something there. Surprisingly, serial killers tend to be smart.
Yes.
I mean, Edward Kemper's IQ made him a genius, right up there. So again, no threat of similarities, though. That's a problem. But antisocial behavior is one of the big ones. Sociopaths tend to be loners. So if the kid who was once outgoing and gregarious starts to become shy and antisocial, might be something to that.
Schizophrenia often.
Right?
Abusing animals. Yeah, okay. Take, for example, Jeffrey Dahmer, if you will. He was social and lively until his parents moved to Ohio. And then he started regressing.
So it's Ohio's fault.
Yeah, blame Ohio. And, I can blame Ohio for a few things.
Sue Ohio.
Fire. Arson is power.
Yes, it is.
Another thing to look for. David Berkowitz was a pyromaniac as a child. His friends, actually classmates, called him Pyro as a nickname. Reportedly, he started more than 1,000 fires in New York before he became Son of Sam.
He was trying to get a name for himself as the fire starter, but that didn't work.
Really didn't count.
Somebody already took that. Little girl did.
Right? As Dr. Ken said, torturing animals.
Yes.
Torturing animals. The Boston Strangler would capture cats and dogs when he was a kid and torture them to death, trap them in boxes, shoot arrows at the defenseless animals just for sport. See, serial killers often start young and they test the boundaries initially with animals. Family pets, sometimes neighborhood pets.
I know this was Dahmer's MO as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got neighbors running around looking for lost cats, check your kid. Just gonna say, Albert DeSalvo, as I mentioned, the Boston Strangler, he would do these horrible things to, and I mean, 70% of violent offenders have episodes of animal abuse in their histories. Okay. So in their childhood, troubled family history, as we've gone over a lot, that can bring a serial killer around. Families with criminal or psychiatric histories, alcoholism even, which is weird, but that one brings it down. But there's so much that extends from alcoholism, violent outbursts, physical emotional, browbeating that an alcoholic can, throw out onto people.
And
I could see that.
Again, going with Edmund Kemper. I mean, this guy killed his grandparents to see, what it would be like.
Yeah.
And later, after he murdered a string of college students, he killed his alcoholic mother, grinding her vocal cords in the garbage disposal in an attempt to erase the sound of her voice.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's intense, but clearly it's something. Childhood abuse. We've discussed that over and over
huge.
too.
Yep.
William Bonin, he killed at least 21 boys and young men in violent rapes and murders. Was abandoned as a child, sent to live in a group home. He himself, of course, was sexually assaulted there. The connection suggests that it suggests that a rage is there that cannot be erased. Look at Eileen Bornos, a rare female sexual killer that was physically and sexually abused throughout her childhood. This resulted in distrust of others, also pent-up rage that exploded during a later rape. A disassociation of sorts, really. She did not connect on a human level with others for fear of rejection.
Beating the old man with the gang.
Substance abuse comes in there as well. A lot of serial killers use drugs or alcohol. Dahmer was repeatedly discharged, thrown out of school, drinking, all this alcohol fueled. He used it to lure his victims to his apartments. A zombie-like sex slave. Nice try, though, dude. I mean, he was on to something. Why didn't he just get a real doll? One of those sex dolls.
They didn't have them then, I'm sure.
No, come on.
They just cost a lot.
How about being a voyeur? Oh, Peeping Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Ted Bundy was a Peeping Tom. You mentioned him before, Linda.
Ted Bundy scared the crap out of me. Well, I had to read this book called The Stranger Beside Me my freshman year in college. It scared me so bad, I got a hammer and kept it by my bed the rest of the semester.
I see. Okay, so we are talking about you being scared and holding a hammer. What are you going to do with the damn hammer?
Beat somebody to
No,
death.
I'll probably whip it out of your hand and beat you with it.
And we had bunk beds, and so my roommate was underneath, and I would look down just to make sure she was there. I mean, this guy seemed to slip into little just areas of 30 feet of darkness, and women just disappeared.
Yeah, that's how it is.
It was frightening.
Okay, so I mentioned that serial killers are usually smart. Dr. Ken, I know you haven't actually had any in the chair that you're aware of, serial killers, but is there something that they cover when you're in school about a little sidebar section about, hey, here's some stuff that you might want to keep an eyeball out for?
What to say so you can exit out of the room really quickly.
How to leave the room if you are all of a sudden concerned that you might be next.
Yeah, well, that's why a lot of the counseling offices, you'll see they have panic buttons.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, because you never know. And once that door is closed, people don't like to, go in. As a matter of fact, when I was at the vet center at one time, one of our therapists was in with somebody who we thought was a little sketchy when they went in. And then the panic alarm went off. The police show up because it's a silent alarm. And I walked them down to the hall to her room, and I knocked on the door, and I said, are you okay? And she goes, I'm in with someone. I said, yes, but I need to know that you're okay.
Right.
And the police officer just pushed me out of the way and opened the door. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's not good protocol. But the panic alarm was hit.
And she was not okay.
No, she was fine.
But,
she was in a session with the guy. And, of course, this guy's a vet. And he sees people coming in through the door with guns. It's not a good scene.
Right. No, I hear that.
So,
yeah.
but still, we take precautions. And there are classes that we take and different sidebars that we do have about the types of patients. And you study these so you can learn behaviors, you can learn body language to see that if you are. And I usually had my back to the door.
So any concerns since you're all sitting on the other side and I'm over here?
Well, notice we're sitting by the door.
I see what you're saying. You're in the closest to the door seat. Let's see. So serial killers are smart.
Yep.
All right. IQs are usually up there, which is why they elude the police for so long. Because, like you were saying, you keep mentioning Edmund Kemper because the guy had a lot going on. He fits almost all 9 of these protocols. He's a genius. His IQ was 136, 4 points under the 140 mark. Used the intelligence to create complex cons that would get him out of prison early after he killed his grandparents and got him out there and allowed him to kill 8 more women. Great.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And finally, serial killers have trouble staying employed. Either because their off-hour activities just take up too much time.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work, you know.
I'm going to be late to work because I'm busy hiding a body here. That's just going to be a problem. You see, Jeffrey Dahmer would hide his bodies in the shower, and then he would try to shower in the morning before work, and he was, it's hard to get the shower in and get to work on time. You see,
because the blood turns orange after a
first
while.
world problem. Lizzie. How you doing over there, baby girl?
Yep.
Yeah. But see, their obsession for hunting for victims often takes away from, time they should be on the clock. So it's hard to hold a job. I get it.
Killing takes a lot of time. Killing time,
It does. It really does. So if you'd like to know more about serial killing, wait, isn't that one of those things they do after the show? Tonight's show was an educational and informative example of what serial killing is all about. For more information, please contact. No, I swear.
Parents, I do want to say, parents, pay a little more attention to your kids on this list. If they're messing with animals, that's a clear sign right there that there's something that needs to be addressed.
Animals,
get them some help.
Fire. They start to all of a sudden become antisocial. Any of that.
Lack emotion.
Yeah.
Start wearing their ball cap backwards.
No, we can't do that. We have 5 stories that are our artists of the week. We're going to play a selection from them coming up next and put wraps on yet another wonderful Connection show. Thanks for being there.
Bang, bang, Maxwell Silverhammer came down on her head.
This is Connections. Connections is Relationship Radio.
It's been a long time in the making, but it's finally here now.
Stop the rock, can't 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 stop.
Time now for our Sexy Artist of the Week on Connections.
Hey there, 5 stories. Write it out, 5storiesmusic.com or the number 5 Stories Music on Facebook. They're an all original hard rock band out of Jackson, Tennessee. They've been together since January 2015. Yeah, there we go. And they got some unforgettable riffs and lyrics. I like their music a lot. Sticks in my head. I like that about it.
Yeah, they are from Tennessee, but this ain't no country.
Yeah, this ain't no country. This is not your daddy's country. The song we're going to play tonight is called Lose Control. Give it a listen. 5 Stories, our featured artist on Connection.
Down the highway with my window down, and I feel like doing 100 to get out of town. Foot on the pedal, smoke off the wheel. Let me try to explain to you exactly how I feel. I feel like going fast. I'm not gonna take it slow. The mirror has my fastest sight, and I'm ready to lose control. Gonna lose control. Gonna lose control. Oh yeah. Sexy thing on the fast.
A couple of different breaks there than I would have expected. Not bad though. Lose Control, 5 Stories. Not my favoriteest of all so far this week. Yeah, last night was my favorite. But
yeah, last night was a killer song.
Yeah, and Dr. Ken, your thoughts?
It's kind of choppy, I thought, but it didn't have any real depth to it.
Something, there was a
There's
weird
something
change
missing.
there too. Yeah, Linda, I saw you.
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Ken, and I also was thinking, maybe it needed some background vocals to help glue it all together, particularly when it got to the chorus.
Just not enough there.
Yeah, guitar's good.
I kind of like its rawness.
Yeah, I'm all right with that. Lizzie, your thoughts?
I like it.
Well, that was a pretty quick thought. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
I like it.
Lizzie
I mean,
is
I
trying
don't-
to figure out serial killers in her family.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to figure out if I could have possibly been one. I'm
You
like,
could have been one. You
Check
could
out
have.
my lists.
Yeah, Lizzie said what? Potential serial killer. Linda Nunez. Hey, I gotta say, Dr. Ken, sorry we locked you out initially, but thank you for making it.
I'm sorry.
We're so glad you're here. Four-star Pete,
You just won the lottery and took home $3 million. What are you going to do?
I'm going to Disney World. I'm Melissa
Talking about
Fox.
tomorrow.
Good night, guys. Thanks for listening. We love you. Mean it.
Laughing time is over.
There you have it, boys. Case closed.
You've been listening to Connections. Find tonight's show and replays of our past shows on ConnectionsShow.com.
Do you run a business and want to learn how you can get between $10,000 to $5 million in 60 seconds? We're Biz to Credit, a top-rated online financing provider to hundreds of thousands of America's business owners. If your business does at least $120,000 a year in gross sales, we can get you more money to run your business in as little as 72 hours. Our terms are simple, repayment plans are flexible, and based on your cash flow. Plus, the paperwork is minimal and the approval process is fast. So in the time you've listened to this commercial, you could have learned if you qualify to get up to $5 million in cash deposited to your business bank account in the next 2 to 3 days. Funding specialists are ready to take your call right now and get you the money you need fast. Call 800-430-7958. That's 800-430-7958. Again, 800-430-7958. Call now.
The sexiest new music, hot throwbacks, and sizzling variety. This is the Living Sexy Radio Network, playing the sexiest music on the planet.
The wind blew some luck in my direction. I caught it in my hands today. I finally made a tricky French connection. You winked and gave me your okay. I'll take you on a trip beside the ocean and drop the top in Chesapeake Bay. Ain't nothing like the sky that knows a potion. The moon will send you on your way. Moonlight feels right. Moonlight feels right. We'll lay back and observe the constellations and watch the moon smiling bright. I play the radio on southern stations, 'cause southern bells are hell at night. You say you came to Baltimore from Ole Miss, a class of 7-4 gold ring. The eastern moon looks ready for a wet kiss to make the tide rise again. Moonlight feels right. Moonlight feels right. See the sun come up on Sunday morning and watch it fade the moon away. I guess you know I'm giving you a warning, 'cause 'cause me and Moon are itching to play. I'll take you on a trip beside the ocean and drop the top of Chesapeake Bay. Ain't nothing like the sky that does a potion. The moon will send you on your way. Moonlight feels right. Moonlight feels right. Moonlight.
Jenny, Jenny, who can I turn to? You give me something I can hold on to. I know you think I'm like the others before, who saw your name and number on the wall. Danny, I got no number. I need to make you mine. Danny, don't change your number. 8675309. 8675309. 8675309. Jenny, Jenny, you're the girl for me. Oh, you don't know me, but you make me so happy. I tried to call you before, but I lost my nerve. I tried my imagination, but
begins to get the best of me. Now, make yourself ready, 'cause the night is just beginning. On a trip that has no ending, no. How I like to let you go. How I love your love. How I love your love, well, you don't have to go. You just wanna see me do some begging. Oh, don't you, baby? Oh, don't you, baby? You just keep on teasing me till I feel your love all over me. Well, you don't have to go. You just wanna see me in a fever. Oh, don't you, baby? Oh, don't you, baby? The height of my masculinity begins to get the best of me. Now, make yourself ready, 'cause the night is just beginning. Going to the moon on a trip that has no ending. No, no, no. Let you go. Let you go. Oh, I like to love you. Let you know. Let you go. How I love your love. How I love your loving baby. Let you go. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Make yourself ready, 'cause the night is just beginning. Going to the moon on a trip that has no ending. No, no, no. How I love your loving baby. 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 How I love your loving How I love your loving baby. How I love your loving baby. You can feel it starting all over again. Your moon comes up and the music calls. You're getting tired of staring at the same four walls. You're out of your room and down on the street. Moving through the crowd in the midnight heat. The traffic roars and sirens scream. Look at the faces, it's just like a dream. Nobody knows where you're going. Nobody cares where you've been. 'Cause you belong to the city. You belong to the night. Living in a river of darkness beneath the neon light. You were born in the city. Concrete under your feet. It's in your roots. It's in your blood. You're a man of the street. When you said goodbye, you were on the run, trying to get away from the things you've done. Now you're back again, and you're feeling strange. So much has happened, and nothing has changed. Still don't know where you're going. You're still just a face in the crowd. You belong to the city. You belong to the night. Living in a river of darkness beneath the neon light. You were born in the city. Concrete under your feet. It's in your blood. It's in your roots. You're a man of the street. You can feel it. You can taste it. You can see it. You can face it. You can hear it. Hey, we're getting near it. Hey, you wanna make it. 'Cause you can take it. You belong to the city. You belong to the night. You belong to the city. You belong to the night. You belong. You belong.
How is your car payment treating you? What if I told you you could make a free phone call right now and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Look at your car payment closely. You could be paying as high as 20% interest. Rate Genius can help you reduce your car payments by reducing your interest rate to as low as 2.48% APR. We can refinance most existing car loans or leased cars, new or used, and save you money every month. Put more money back in your pocket. The call is free to find out how low we can lower your car payment. 5 minutes of your time right now could save you hundreds of dollars a year. Call Rate Genius now.
800-493-5670. 800-493-5670. 800-493-5670. That's 800-493-5670.
Not all applicants qualify for a loan or rate savings. Actual offer terms, including APR, are determined at the time of your application based on creditworthiness, value of the vehicle, loan term, and other factors.
Nunez Productions is a full-service audio and video recording and editing suite.
They offer voiceover, English to Spanish dubbing, transcriptions, translations, mixing, and mastering.
Does your business need new clients? Call Nunez Productions today and let them help you open the floodgates.
Offering services and products bilingually adds instant customers.
And that means instant cash.
Y por supuesto, se habla español. Visit NunezProductions.com today to get a free quote on your project.
That's NUNEZ Productions.com.
From New York to Dubai, this is the Living Sexy Radio Network on livingsexyradio.com, playing the sexiest music on the planet.
Oh, yeah. Baby, grind with me. Relax your mind. Take your time with me. I love you deeper if you cry for me. Now come and kiss me. Say your body gets away. Just grind with me, baby. Grind with me. Relax your mind. Take your time with me. I love you deeper if you cry for me. Now come and kiss me. Say your body gets away. Just grind with me, baby.
When I grind, I make you say, slow grind to be my day. I grind in the back of mine, keep it moving like you see. I make you laugh and giggle, cut it with little, kissing your neck. Now girl, let me see that thing jiggle. Girlfriend, your body so, I can tell you a superstar. P-L-U-E-S-T-A. I can tell around the block I sexy you. I drink Red Bull, so I keep stamina. What's my name? What's my name? What's my name? Pretty Ricky, pretty boy, doing pretty good things, making pretty good change. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty chicks, get pretty damn rich. Pretty Ricky in the mouth. Bricks.
Relax your mind, take your time with me. I love you deeper if you cry for me. Now come and kiss me, say your body gets away. Just grind with me, baby, grind with me. Relax your mind, take your time with me. I love you deeper if you cry for me. Now come and kiss me, say your body gets away. Just grind with me, baby.
Light this candle, let me set the scene for you, baby. Out the shower, so fresh and so clean, baby. Staring in your eyes, I can see the fire. Got you hypnotized, keep feeling the vibe. Staring in your eyes, I can see the fire. Got you hypnotized, keep feeling the vibe.
Kissing on me, girl, you're killing me softly. Now you see why you chose me. It's cool, you vibing with me, baby. Grind with me, relax your mind, take your time with me. I love you deeper if you cry for me. Now come and kiss me, so your body gets sweet.
Slick got more game than a little bit. Baby girl, 5'5" round eyes with a thick lip. Thick thighs, slim hips, sugar honey icy. Baby girl, so sweet. In a bag of chips, I like to catch when she coming home. Like side girl, you know it's on. Looking good like a Sunday cone. You got me hoping, no sugar coating. Love John is stroking, no joking. Girl, I'm focused. The bedroom smoking. Get some air up in this room, girl. If loving you is wrong, then I wanna be right. So I'ma take my time and do it right. Cause we got all night, baby girl, just
grind with me. Relax your mind, take your time with me. I love you deeper if you cry for me. Now come and kiss me till your body gets sweet. Just grind with me, baby.
There are times when a woman
mind, even though she knows how much it's gonna hurt. Before I say another word, let me tell you I love you. Let me hold you close and say these words as gently as I can. There's been another man that I've needed and I've loved, but that doesn't mean I love you less. And he knows he can't possess me, and he knows he never will. There's just this empty place inside of me that only he can fill. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Loving both of you is breaking all the rules. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Loving you both is breaking all the rules. You mustn't think you failed me just because there's someone else. You were the first real love I ever had. And all the things I ever said, I swear they still are true. For no one else can have the part of me I gave to you. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Loving both of you is breaking all the rules. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Loving you both is breaking all the rules. I couldn't really blame you if you turned and walked away. But with everything I feel inside, I'm asking you to stay. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Loving both of you is breaking all the rules. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Loving you both is breaking all the rules. Torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. Loving both of you is
¿Te gustaría reducir tus pagos de tarjetas de crédito por un 50% o tener pagos más razonables? ¡Claro que puedes! Solo llama a la línea de ayuda de deudas. Ayudamos exclusivamente a personas que quieren deshacerse de sus deudas de tarjetas de crédito. Estamos viviendo momentos difíciles. Si perdiste tu empleo y el dinero no te alcanza, puede que estés usando tus tarjetas de crédito para sobrevivir. No te agobies. Llámanos. Prometemos ayudarte y mostrarte una manera de reducir tus pagos mensuales. Reduce tus deudas y haz un simple pago a todos tus acreedores de tarjetas de crédito. Pagado por Cero Deudas. Llama al 800-379-5312. 800-379-5312.